Hi guys, it's Bill coming at you live from my kitchen. Oh, no, I'm recording this, never mind. But I've got this really great traditional Belgium recipe, and I'm going to really mess up the name, but it's best I can find. It's called vol au vent, which is like a classic dish, and I've kind of been working it, reworking it, and trying to make it as authentic as possible. A few weeks ago I started off because making these really awesome French fries that took like forever to figure out. I made like 10 batches to make it right. Alright, I had to recruit my neighbor to help me, and I'll put a link to it because that's part of this dish. And they just rock, okay? So, how am I going to start out? Well, so I have 2 tablespoons of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil, and I sliced some mushrooms pretty thin. Well, the key to this is you want to make sure you get all the liquid out of those mushrooms. And I still got a little bit left because it's going to ruin the consistency. So, as great chefs always say, a little more time on the front end really saves you the hassle. And some things you just can't take back. If you mess some things up in the beginning, you might as well pour it down the drain, okay? And I think I've actually done a few of those in my life, so I can attest to that. So, mushrooms are really funny because the first thing they do, like sponges, they absorb everything, the butter, the oil, and especially the butter. And then it starts to cook out, and then you get this flood of water. So there are a couple ways of doing it. If you want to do just like small, putting a few in at a time, that's kind of what I did. Basically this is about 6 ounces. They come in little 8-ounce containers, but then you cut the ends off, and a couple that don't meet your standard of quality. So you end up with about 6 ounces that you really. And like I said, these are really cooked, and they're really, it's like making shrunken heads or something because they just like shrink down to nothing. But that's really important. You really need to get them. They got a lot of color to them. They're brown, and mushrooms are such a great earthy flavor. And we want to stick with kind of the natural flavors. Belgian food has, really comes from a lot of Eastern cooking, a lot of French inspired. So it was pretty easy for me to transition. I just had to figure out some of the differences. Wish I could say I was some great French chef, like Julia Childs, man. James Beard, those kind of guys, man. But then I'd be like 100 pounds heavier, right? Okay, so I'm going to call this as looking really good. I got most of that liquid down. And we're going to kind of mess with it because we're doing some more cooking. So I need like half a cup of onion. This is a little bit more. And I decided to use a sweet onion because your regular cooking onions, and I say this a lot, but I think they just kind of have a little oomph to them, a little too much. I'll turn these down just a little bit. Not much, because I really want to kind of caramelize these a little bit. And I can tell I'm not frying, so this was a good sweet onion. I think this was the Medallion. Obviously use whatever you got or can get. Got some really fun other recipes that I'm going to flood my channel with. I've been just brainstorming some really great fun things, and hope to make a bunch of them to try first, and then I'll make them for you. But I think everything's going to be really good. And for those of you who are bugging me, yes, I did finally break down and for Christmas I got a GoPro camera so I can do some overhead shots. I'm just working out the details. I had a few little hiccups with charging the batteries and the batteries themselves, and had to get an codec to convert the files. Then I got to figure out some other little idiosyncrasies to GoPro, but I'll figure it out. Okay, so this onion's looking like it's got just the way I want it, right? Almost, because you don't want to ruin them. And you know, normally when I put garlic in something, it's this big mounding thing. Well, I didn't want that much garlic, so literally this is like 2 pretty good sized cloves, 3 small cloves. And we just want to make some really great flavor here, okay? That's where you gotta be kind of quick. Don't want to burn the garlic. And you can tell, like it starts, it's like really fragrant and great. And if you start to overcook it, that aroma kind of changes. Alright, so I don't want to do too much more of this. I'm going to turn it down because we have another step that needs to be accomplished here. Let me get my stuff together. So I got some chicken breast. I needed about 4 ounces. And what I'm going to do, or what I did was I cut it into pretty small cubes, and I need to dredge it in some flour. Well, the way I like to dredge things in flour, and the chicken was, I did put salt and pepper on it, kind of tossed it around on the plate first. I like using a little colander here so I can make sure a little bit more. Because I don't want too much flour. Just want to get it good coated. Once I get it nice and coated, shake off a little excess, or drop it right in. Oh, the rains are coming. Just try to break these up a little bit. This is a really simple process. I'm kind of over-exaggerating it so you can see. I got a great comment yesterday that I make things look so simple. I'm like, well, it's really not hard, it just takes practice. Okay, let's get these guys in here. Obviously I need to clean my mess up. Out of the way. Turn this back up. A little bit of flour is going to work as a thickening agent. Everybody's happy. Everyone's cooking. Make sure we get that chicken going pretty good. I cube these really small so that they're going to cook very quickly. I'm going to kind of single them out, get them rolling around. And this is what makes these really unique. Yeah, turn up too high. If you're not real confident in doing it this way, you could always use some tongs to flip them. Just make sure you find some space on the pan. That's why this is really great to do in a saute pan versus in a big pot. And for you cast iron people out there, you're probably rolling your eyes going, I could do that better. Alright, these last pieces are cooking, and you saw this is really quick. Just get a little color on the outside. Okay, I'm pretty happy. Now what do I have to do? Well, this is what makes it really cool. I took a ½ pound of ground pork and I made these little meatballs and I baked them in the oven. So these have already been cooked. You want to make them pretty small. And so, you know, when you take pork like this and you cook it down, it's going to be about the same weight as the chicken. Because obviously the chicken has some fat content. And I did read that if you were so inclined, you could use like boneless thighs, if that's your thing. That's absolutely fine for the chicken. I just like the texture of the boneless breast. Alright, so as you can see, this is really basic stuff, right? This is cooking really basic. Alright, so now what do I have to do? Believe it or not, chopped up a little parsley and had some leftover fresh thyme from another dish I made, and everything's going in the pool. That thyme is really kind of the basis of, I mean, huge amount of French cooking, and obviously that translates to a lot of Belgian cooking, and it just adds such a great flavor. So just a little Italian parsley and a bunch of thyme, because we want just a little color. What we're doing is we're just adding some color to this all. And I can smell it already, man. This is like to die for. So now there's no extra liquid in here. Everything's gotten warm. So what are we going to do for the next step? Well, I guess I'll show you, right? I have 6 ounces, 3/4 of a cup, or about 200 milliliters of heavy cream. And I don't want to put it all in right away. I really want to do that about a... Oh yeah. We're going to start with 4 ounces, or about ½ a cup. Already I can tell we're probably going to be really close. And we just want to kind of simmer it, and heavy cream really holds up better to this process. That's why I'm using it. A lot of milk products would kind of what we call break, or separate with the heat. Didn't want to do that. So I just want to stir this around, make sure I've got everything mixed in really well, and want everything to be equally flavored. And I just want to see these little bubbles all around. And you're starting. And this is why it's so important that there was no extra water from the mushrooms or in here. Everything, I really kind of cooked it down. And that's why you also cook them in butter, because the butter is really going to work well. Alright, I'm going to put the last bit in because I'm pretty sure I need it. Everything flipped around, we want everything nice and coated. And this is thickening up really nicely. I just want to reduce it a little bit. I'm not trying to make a gravy. It's starting to get there. And this is this is a really great technique because you're not, yes, there is a little flour from the chicken, but that's more to get color in the chicken. But there is a little bit of thickening agent that'll come out from the flour. But for the most part, you're just reducing the cream, which is, when I talk about cream soups, I always say, I hate when you go places and it's all flour and milk, because they want to hurry it up and make this really thick, nasty stuff. And let me tell you, this is exactly what I wanted. And by the way, anyone have any advice about GoPros, let me know, alright? But man alive, this is perfect. I mean, it couldn't be any better. I'm going to turn it off because everything's nice and hot. Let's move on to the next step. Alright, so what do you think I did? I don't know. So what makes this so special is I baked some puff pastries. And they're not really hard to make. You can get pastry sheets and cut them all any way you want and stack them. And then the center ones you want to cut a circle out. And then you want to put a top on it so it all steams real nice inside. But bottom line is they also make frozen puff pastries. I mean, so whatever is easier for you or you want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one, and I just cooked these, so they're really fresh. Not sure I'm going to be able to get this all to fit, so maybe I'll do it this way. Oh man. So I could have made the meatballs a little bit smaller, but the chicken was cut up really well. Everything looks really good. It's really interesting. Just want a little sauce on there. I'm gonna get this off the heat. And I don't know if you know anything about Belgian cooking, which I've already talked about, but it's not dinner. Oh, hot. Until you put some Belgian fries with it. Ooh. And like I said, I will send a link. I just had to throw some on here for good luck. This is, I hope, meets the expectation. And there's a funny thing, you know, when you cut the tops off, you can always put them back on and make it look pretty. That's kind of a French thing. I kind of like it all like overflowing. I just think that I really hope that I did a great job. I hope that everyone's impressed. And this was a request, so I really put some extra effort into it. A little out of my comfort zone. You know, I love French cooking, but I really wanted to make sure that I didn't make it French. I wanted to make it Belgian. Hope I did a great job. I can't wait to hear. And hope you all have a great day. And I'll see you again. And thank you for watching my videos and commenting. And you all have been really great. So I will see you later.